Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And this is another day 50 of Daddy in Dubai. And look, day 50 is special because I got to 50 a few months ago, and now we're 50 days into Dubai, and I'm now acknowledging people that have contributed to that journey. You heard from Sue earlier, and she's been a rock star. And the other rock star is none other than Mr. Kalpesh Patel. Brother, listen, I really appreciate not just the last 50 days, but the last 22 years, man, because
Mm.
when I tapped you on the shoulder and said, I recognize your head from somewhere, um, that was, so many years ago. And Sue mentioned it, there's some people you meet for a season, some people you meet for a reason, and there's some people you meet
Mm.
for a lifetime. And you are obviously my lifetime brother from another mother, and I'm truly grateful for everything you are. Um,
Yeah.
and Jaden, this is Kalpesh Kaka. You obviously know him, and after 50 days of being here, wow. Um, right now, as we sit here on Monday, the 30th of March, when I look into who I am, where I am, and what's ahead of me, it's beyond what I expected, right? I had expectations when I got here, and many people said to me, "Oh, why are you living at the Hyatt? Why are you living there?" Right? And I said, "Well, you know what it is? Kalpesh is the kind of guy that when I'm around him, he brings out the best in me. And I want to
Oh.
acknowledge you for that because I'm a better person when I'm around. So, and I remember saying to Steve, right, I said, look, even if I'm paying an extra 10, £20 a day to have five-star facilities, having your mum's cooking below, and having you and Sue, you guys have been, what can I say? You're a stand for something, right? And I,
Mm.
I want to acknowledge you for pulling me up, right? Because
Oh.
it can't be easy to pull up your mate. Um, but I appreciate it, man.
It's been a journey, right?
It's been
22
a it's
years.
been an amazing journey, and it's still
Extraordinary.
there's still more to come, right?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And look,
Watch out for the next 22.
I mean, look, it's phenomenal. Jaden, listen, what I want to say to you, Sunshine, is every day's a journey, and you've got to dream big, and then dream bigger, and then dream
Mm.
bigger, and then go as far as you can go, man. Because fortunately for me, I came across Kalpesh, right, in Trafalgar Square, and when he said to me, I said, "What do you do?" And he goes, "I'm a motivational speaker." I said, "That's what I want to do." I didn't realize that there was a career option where you can get paid to talk, and I don't know if you've guessed already, but I love talking. And when I found out that's what you do, you introduced me to a whole world, right? Les Brown, Jim Rohn, and and I said this to Sue earlier when I became a parent and I became a father, the most exciting part of that journey was we've been studying human behavior for so many years, right? To have your own little human, it doesn't
Mm.
get much more exciting than that. And look, Sunshine, I love you to the moon and back. And being away from you for so long, and whatever has happened in that process, it's brought me here, right? And the best part of my day, every single day, is to create a video on what I've learned in the last 24 hours. And generally, whatever I've learned throughout life comes into that. And that's evolved into your digital daddy, right? And regardless of what happens tomorrow or the day after, um, long after my physical format's gone, the digital daddy will always be there for you. And now I've got the privilege of bringing my friends and family in on the conversation. And look, I'm gonna let Kalpesh speak for in a minute about his experience with me, and then we'll finish off with some words of wisdom for you, Sunshine, Jaden, that you can benefit from because the only thing we can do is leave memories, right?
Mm.
And I can safely say, and I remember you saying this at a seminar once, Kalps, that I just want to be all used up, right? At the end of my life, I want them to say, listen, he did everything he could with everything he had, and he's fully used up. And I tell you what, I don't feel used up, but I've used everything I've had to get to where I am today. And look, only you know the journey, right? The ups and
Mm.
downs, the challenges, the frustrations, the chaos. And look, I'm that guy, right? I'm gonna I'm gonna say the things that most people wouldn't say. I'm gonna do the things that most people wouldn't do. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be me.
Mm.
So, Kalpesh, I'll leave it to you, man. I know you got plenty to say.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So first of all, I want to start by just saying, wow, what a great idea that you had to put this on YouTube, saved forever. And
Yeah.
so it's not just, I know it's the intention is for Jaden, but for me, it goes way beyond that because it will reach anyone that wants to get to know you, right? And so
Mm,
Jaden's the beginning of the journey, but it's definitely not the end of that journey. I think this will ripple out. I reckon, and I don't know, just this is how I see this going forward for you, is that there are people in your family that probably don't know you as well as they'll get to know you through this little video series that you're putting together.
yeah.
Because as you say, everyone knows a different part of you, everyone knows you in a different way, and to put all of that and collate and put it into one place means that now everyone gets to see those different parts
Mm,
at in their own time, and if they're interested to know who is Dizzy Taylor, like who is the guy beyond the one that I know, the version that I know,
yeah.
because you are multiple versions, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, that we can agree on, definitely.
Yeah. So well done for taking the initiative to put this together, and I know how much you love and miss Jaden, and I know it's not been easy to take this step to,
Yeah,
leave everything that you built, everything that you know, your whole life
yeah.
behind, and just take a massive leap forward into the future
Look, there's
and doing
somebody else I
something
want to
very
acknowledge,
new.
right? Because this wouldn't have happened without my wife, right? Had she not have
100%.
been the way she is, and I said to this to her on her
Yeah,
birthday, I said, listen, I don't ever want you to change, right?
yeah.
However you are, the way you are, this wouldn't have been created without your input, right?
Mm, yes.
Out of the frustration, this was born, and like I said, it's the greatest part of my 24 hours. Every day when I wake up, I look
Yeah.
forward to creating a message for Jaden. And
Mm.
so I want to acknowledge you, wife, for you playing your role in the creation of this process.
Wow, love it. 100%. And support from everyone, your parents as well, have been
Yeah.
incredible about everything. Because I often liken it to, like, I moved to Dubai 5 years ago in 2021 during COVID. And at the time, I'm the first person from England. All of our family back in the day went from Africa to England.
Mm,
And I'm the first one that has physically moved, me and my family as well, have
mm,
subsequently followed, moved to another country. And it takes something because you're in your comfort zone where you've been from the age of 1 till the age of 50.
yeah.
Your whole life, your friends, your family, your everything, right? You know how it all works, logistics, all of that. To risk giving all of that comfort up and starting from scratch in a new territory, it's for most people beyond comprehension. And I would say probably 90% of people that dream about doing something like that never will, because fear will always over dominate the idea. So the idea is always like, oh wow, we could do this, we could do that. Everyone talks a talk, right? Everyone can do everything, but how many people actually do anything at all? Very few. And so for me, when people are willing to take that leap from the known to the unknown, I can't help but just love and respect and honor the greatness of that
Mm.
being inside of that body. So, welcome to the club, as they say.
Thank you very
And
much.
I know the future is going to be amazing because it always is. History says for people that choose an amazing future, their future is always amazing. So we're
Yeah.
excited about the journey. And we've shared some mega,
Oh,
mega memories around the
unbelievable.
world.
Yeah.
Uh, and one of the things that I always pin to that is wherever we go, we've been traveling the globe for 22 years plus now. And wherever we go, including when you arrived in Dubai, I think it was the first day that we went out, wasn't it? It's always the same blueprint, isn't it? We went somewhere, restaurant or whatever, we showed up somewhere and it comes out, doesn't it? Are you guys twins?
Yeah.
Every time, every single time. So there's not been a country that we haven't arrived in that hasn't happened.
No, not
And
true.
so, yeah, we are twins from, as you say, uh, twins from another mother.
And look, I want to
um,
acknowledge your mother, man, because the first 2 months, coming down and eating dinner with you guys, it
home
was
cooked.
you can't make it up, and not having my own mum there and then eating the food that I mean, I had dishes that I've not eaten for 30 years. I mean, you can't make that up. There's no way I was in the wrong place.
Yeah,
Been completely magical the last 50 days. And so,
and it's mad, isn't it? It doesn't feel like it feels like a lot more than 50 days, doesn't it?
no, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, it has been magical, and yeah, just those that have seen that side of you being around you is an absolute pleasure. You never know, what's around the corner, what's gonna come next, what's gonna emerge in the next interaction.
I mean, look, I've not seen you for 3 weeks, right? But I can tell you right now, the people I met Saturday and Sunday just having breakfast, absolute
Wow.
monsters. Yeah. Absolute. I mean, this one
Yeah.
guy I met, and I just had breakfast and he just sat next to me. And I just said, mate, you look like a monster. That was my open line. And it turns out he is a monster. And we're going to work together, right? And he goes,
Wow.
Dizzy, stay the pushy guy that you are, because it's going to get you far. And
Yeah.
I'll
Love that.
introduce you to him. He
For sure.
imports Porsches and German cars into
Wow.
Dubai, but absolutely ridiculous. But look, when you guys come back, obviously I'll
Yeah,
fill
yeah, for
you in
sure.
and all of that.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. And so, yeah, Dizzy, for Jaden, as you're watching this, what I want you to know about who Dizzy is for me, beyond the brother from another mother and a dear soul of 22 years, he is somebody that paints outside of the lines and reinvents conversations and reinvents himself ongoingly, right? So you're somebody that's always open to what's next. You're always open to
Mm,
just open. That's a gift, right? Most people are not, and so it's a rare find. So to have you, uh, you know, represent that, certainly, for Jaden, if you can learn that uh, you know, from your dad's space, just grab that from him and own it. It's the best way to live life is to be open to everything and anything's possible. And if you can conceive the thought
mm,
of anything, and then if you can back that thought up with consistency and actions over time, the world is yours.
mm,
And that's how we've lived for the last, I mean, certainly long since I've met Dizzy 22 years, but for me, 30 plus years, when I discovered the world of self-awareness and personal growth. And so that's another thing. A gift that I'd like to give you, Jaden, is to follow that path.
mm,
Most people won't because it means being accountable, being responsible, It means taking stock. It means looking in the mirror and having a checkup from the neck up, as we like to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I encourage definitely take that road less traveled because it's a beautiful road, and it's the people that take that road where they do remain open and they do challenge themselves and they do reinvent themselves and remain open to anything's possible are the only people, in my opinion, are the only people in the world that create something different for others.
Mm.
The other path is just do what everyone does, right? And that's fine. If that's what you choose to do, that's fine too. But if you've got even an inkling inside of you that says you want a little bit more than just standard, predictable, life. If you want a bit more than that, you've got a wicked representation of that in your father, and just grab all of that and drink from it every day,
Mm.
and use that as your platform to create you and recreate you and reinvent yourself and design your life rather than living by accident, live on purpose. Um, that's the magic that's available. Very few take it. But yeah, for me, I would love to see that you carry that torch forward. I mean, having a dad like Dizzy is not normal. I mean, you know that, no doubt anyway, but it's not, it's a gift. And so do not look that gift horse in the mouth. Don't ever take it for granted. Don't be complacent around it. Be aware of it.
Mm.
Be inspired by it. And like I said, drink from that cup. And you will 100% be a better person for it. There's no doubt. From my point of view,
Yeah.
that's the best path to take.
So my first guest was Papa Blockchain, right? Um,
Mm,
that was a couple of days ago, and that was created out of Pekka. I've not spoken to you for ages, man. We need to have a catch up. And I looked back at when I met him, and I met him 5 years ago, right?
yeah, that's
And
right.
it was at an event, and I said to him, I said, "Listen, Pekka, Can I just record this because I'm recording a series for my son, and it will be great to have you as my first guest, because I met you in Dubai 5 years ago. I evolved from just being Dizzy to being blockchain barber, and the whole blockchain scenario is an ever evolving subject. Even more so now than it was 5 years ago. It was a conversation 5 years ago, which has been
Mm,
ongoing, and as we speak now, there's still further developments in blockchain. So I was like, well, Pekka, tell me what's hot and what's not in the world of blockchain, right? So and Jaden can learn from it. But one of the things that came out of that conversation was um, whatever Jaden watches on YouTube, I can see it in the history, right? And a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that somebody had watched a video on the Big Bang Theory and what happens before the black hole and all of this stuff, right? And I was like,
nice.
Jaden, uh, you're 10, right? Did you
Love it.
were you watching that? And he went, yeah. And I was like, wow, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, man, because
Awesome.
I said I wasn't inquiring about the black hole and the existence of life and the Big Bang Theory and all of those things. I was not interested in that at the age of 10. And Pekka said something really amazing. He said, it'd be interesting to know how you got from whatever the subject you were looking at, how did you get to here? Because there must have been a
Mm,
thought process that led you to that, whether it's the algorithm or whatever. But
mm,
what happened? What was the journey from wherever you were to that video? Because the algorithms now control
yeah,
what you see, right? Based on what is interested and what isn't. And we talked a lot about
yeah,
AI and all of that kind of stuff. So that was an interesting thing. So as you
yeah,
say, will he carry the torch on? I think he's going to carry a laser beam or one of them. What do they call in Star Wars? A lightsaber.
Yeah,
I think he's going to carry a lightsaber. He's going to take it beyond what I'm going to do, especially
love
if
it.
he's inquiring at that level. So, Sunshine, listen, whatever you feel like doing, um, I'm blessing you with the permission to go dream as big, as
Yeah.
astronomical as you want, Sunshine.
It's interesting that you say that because I was very, very, very interested in all of that when I was a kid. Yeah, and but again, my mind was always like beyond what's in front of us, and so
Mm.
space. It wasn't Big Bang Theory back then, but just space and how everything fits together, how it all
Mm.
works, the history of how people used to think before, and like wow, people used to think the world was flat. People used to think that the sun went around the earth, and all of these concepts. I'm like, and look at that, and like, people learned that it wasn't that.
Yeah,
So what else are we going to learn going forward that we think is real and fixed, and suddenly, bang, you realize it's all made up and it wasn't,
yeah.
and there's a whole different version of stuff going on in reality. So I was always inspired by that thought
Mm.
process of how people think a certain way, believe a certain way, and then when people challenge that way of thinking and believing, messes them up. And the people that challenged all of these concepts back in the day, they got burnt at the stake or hung or
Mm. Yeah,
murdered. They got stoned to death and all that kind of stuff. And it's like just because they challenged the status quo,
yeah,
just because they challenged what everyone else thought was real. And it turns out over time that
yeah.
science says, oh, actually, the whole world was wrong. And that guy or that girl at that time was right.
They were on the money back then.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And so the way that I have taken a path in life, and as have you, and as have a few, and I say a few in terms of global population, but
Mm.
there are a few million people on the planet that do that. They challenge
Mm.
the norm, challenge the everyday, they challenge the status quo, and they get ridiculed, they get cussed out, they get attacked, they get all of those things, and then over time, it's like, oh, maybe they were onto something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so even in business, I've always pursued that. I've always tried to be at the cutting edge of what's next, what's new, what's possible, rather than just sticking to something that might be just comfortable and existing and easy. Because I love that. I love that creativity, that challenging, seeing if you can break through something, recreate something, break boundaries, break rules, and
Yeah.
prove, other than what's already proven.
Amazing.
So yeah, yeah. Love that he's
So,
interested.
parting words for Jaden, the one bit of advice.
Well, the one bit of advice, I guess I've already said it. You're already on the path, right? Be always remain open. You already are. Be inquisitive, be curious, and never let that go. And be playful. Like just enjoy the journey, love the journey, and never lose that beautiful smile of yours. Just
Mm.
that. For me, if you can make this your default, then the rest just does what it does, right?
Yeah. Well, look, Couch, listen, I appreciate your time. I know you're out there in Thailand, but yeah, I appreciate your time today for coming on and sharing. And Jaden, listen, man, I'm going to do this every day. As long as I'm alive, wherever I am in the world, your digital daddy is going to show up every day. Like the sun's going to come up. I'm going to come up for my son and create something. Because look, every day is an experience, right? I don't know everything, but I know one thing. Life is to be lived, and I'm fully living life to the max. Yeah. And I will share that with you every single day, in every possible way that I can, because it is, I mean, I'm not doing this for money, right? This is not a monetary exercise. This is a stream of my life and
Mm,
sharing it with my son, so that you can have this experience forever. Because
love
we're
it.
not here forever. And I lost my really good mate 2 weeks into this trip.
Mm,
And, every day I think of him because he got me my clothes. I mean, what I'm wearing today, he was responsible for it, right? So, Seb, wherever you are in heaven, mate, you're in my heart, and I'm wearing your clothes, mate. So
Wow.
it's funny how life pans out. And
Yeah.
yeah, man. Thank you,
Well, it's like this.
Kalps.
The only predictable outcome is that it is going to end some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, lean into that. Like live to the max. And when it
I mean,
comes, you're not sitting there going, "Oh shit, is it already over?"
look, the thing was after Ramesh went, right?
Yeah.
That was like the first person for me within our crew that left, right?
Mm.
And it was like, oh, sugar, right?
Yeah.
And I remember driving to Bradford and I said to Jaden, I said, listen, you have to prepare for the worst, but expect the best. Yeah.
Mm.
And I said to him, I said, what's the worst case scenario today, Sunshine? And it was completely related to his Switch and playing games, right? And that's
Love it.
obviously that's his world, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. I said, how about if I could make it a little bit worse for you? He went, go on then. I said, what if I was to die? And he went, wow, that's dad baddy. That's bad daddy. Because it wasn't something that he thought about, right? And
Yeah.
look, as you know, losing your father can be an event, right?
Mhm.
Which you experienced yourself. And the only thing you can do to prepare someone is make the most of your time
Yeah.
before, right?
Well, there is. That's all
That's
there
all you
is. There's
can do.
nothing more than yeah. There's nothing more than doing. Look, there's a little phrase I want to leave on this video actually, and it's something that's inspired me from forever ago. And I think it was Mark Twain that said it. Two most important days of your life: the day that you're born and the day that you realize why.
Mm,
And the quicker you can come to that realization, the rest of life is an absolute
mm,
blessing. Most
amazing.
people never find out why they're here, which is why they just rinse and repeat.
Yeah,
Once you realize why you're here, bang, it's a different game,
different game.
different levels open up.
You know what you're here to do.
Yeah,
So Jaden, you heard it. You heard the word. And for those of you that are not my son and watching this, press like, subscribe, and all that things that you got to do, right? So appreciate your time, man, and see you when you're back, man.
love you,
Jaden,
brother.
love you to the moon and back, sunshine.
Mwah.